Welcome to the Health Revolution, the show that leads you to a life of vibrant well-being. In a world full of noisy health trends, we bring you clarity through a sea of fads. We reveal the science behind the strategies that truly work. We explore physical strength, emotional resilience, and mental mastery, the keys to an enriched life. See inspiring interviews with the champions who've conquered life's health challenges. Are you ready to unlock your potential to live with vitality and purpose? Then join the Health Revolution. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, health and fitness expert, speaker, and a mom who understands. Let's embark on this transformative quest together. If you want to change the game, it all starts now. Hi, everyone. Welcome. And you are watching the Health Revolution. And we're excited that you're joining us today. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison. We want to welcome all new and returning viewers. And no matter which way you're tuning into us, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. We do want to stay connected to you. Also, at the bottom of your screen, there is a tab for show episode notes. Be very mindful of that. There is some important information about today's episode. And if you are new to our show, we are excited that you're joining us this morning. Our show is all about all things elevating the physical strength of the human body, the emotional resilience, and the mental mastery, that fortitude, that trifecta that allows us to have such the optimal life that we all strive to have. And I'm excited about today's episode. Today, it's all about celebrating yourself. Celebrate yourself, the power of self-worth. And this is something that a lot of us do struggle with from time to time. There's that level of imposter syndrome. We don't want to pat ourselves on the back so much because maybe it looks a certain type of way for others. But what are we missing when we don't give and hold space to celebrate ourselves? Today, we're going to do a deep dive. There's a whole lot of information I'm excited to cover with you and our guest. First, I'm excited to introduce you to her. First, let's take a look at this. Meet Amy Ballantyne, a two-time TEDx speaker, international trainer, and emotional intelligence expert known for her ability to create real connection with people who are often carrying more than they let on. Her work speaks to the high achievers, the quiet supporters, the leaders behind the scenes, the ones who keep showing up, even when the internal pressure becomes too heavy to name. She's also the author of Celebrate Yourself, a powerful invitation to shift the narrative from constant striving to confident self-recognition, not through ego, through worth. Today on the Health Revolution, the conversation turns inward toward presence, self-trust, and what it really means to live from a place of strength that doesn't require struggle. Amy Ballantyne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you because you really, this is your wheelhouse. This is something that is very close to you. I just want to start off by asking, how did you get to the point where, or what led you to this being an area that we don't often talk about, and how did you become an expert in really working with people to tackle how to celebrate themselves?
Thank you so much. One of the things that helped me to get where I am today, I think, is becoming a cheerleader, an actual cheerleader. I have the natural enthusiasm and charisma, but I didn't always celebrate myself. There was a number of times, most significantly after I became a new mom. I'm a mom of 3. And there was a time when I didn't feel confident. I lost who I was. I struggled to see anything good about myself. The time, if you're a parent, if you're a mother, you put every second of the day into thinking about that other human or humans. And I truly lost myself. And there was this moment actually where I had accomplished something pretty big. I became a mom and an entrepreneur, pretty similar time. And I had been working on an aspect of my business had incredible success and realized that it was about celebrating myself and not seeking the external approval, recognition, validation from others around me that actually helped me own that moment and start to connect to real self love and self worth. It was a game changer for me.
I can relate to that moment where think back to when you first became a mom. It's equivalent to taking a cucumber and turning it into a pickle. There's no going back. And honestly, there's no blueprint. There's no book that says how to be able to juggle and transform the different roles. How did you know that this was something that needed your attention? Because when you become a mom, it's literally all hands on deck. You're right about that precious human. You're on the go, go, go. Your feet hardly touch the ground. So at what point were you like, uh-oh, let me do a temp check and let me just get a clear picture of where I am right now?
I was at a very low time, honestly. I was at a very low time as a mom. Luckily, I truly believe that one of the greatest gifts was that I had already started my business, and I was someone, and I am someone who invests in personal development and continuous growth. And I was going to this training actually in what I thought was to learn how to improve and grow my business, when in fact I uncovered that the area and I don't use the word need to very often anymore, but the area I needed to focus on was actually loving myself and realizing that I was enough and worthy. And that became the focus actually for a lot of the beginning part of this book. The beginning part of my personal development and growth journey was taking steps then to build that connection to my worth, to remember. I talk in the book and on stage a lot about remembering that we are worthy, because I believe there is a point in time where all of a sudden it shifts, right? We've seen small children, they don't know, or they don't think that they're unworthy until all of a sudden they have that thought put either into their head from some external source. They hear someone talking negatively about themselves and make a negative connection there. They hear something in the media. And so this training, that moment was truly a catalyst for the beginning of my development and the early phase of this creation of this movement.
In recent times, there's more focus on personal development. It's now something that's embraced. But in all honesty, once upon a time, this wasn't something that, hey, let me look within me or let me work on me. So, where was your turning point when you knew that you needed to incorporate this? Were you exposed to the power of personal development? Did someone introduce you to the idea, or did you stumble upon it and you were like, oh, okay, I see, and I see how this can help?
You know what? I have been interested and engaged in personal development since my teens. So this concept of growing myself, reflecting on who I am and the choices I'm making, the thoughts I'm thinking, this is not new. But I was at such a low point that something needed to change. And so I actually came to the awareness, I believe it was a download that I received, that when I was looking at my new babies, when I remember the moment of looking at one of my children where I had this realization that in that moment of being a new baby, we cannot walk, we cannot talk, we cannot read or write or have a job or make money, and yet we are enough. And it was in that moment actually that the puzzle pieces came together, that clicked together for me, that I was that same young small baby at one point as well. And I was enough then, and I started using that as one of the first stepping stones actually. This mantra of I was enough then and I am enough now. And I talk in the book about a few other things that I did to grow that connection to my worth and feeling enough as well.
And when you work with others, and you, because obviously you do work with high achievers, you work with a variety of different people in many different roles. What is the one thing that you're noticing that most people struggle with, or what's a common area that most people struggle with, that they don't know their self-worth?
Oh my goodness. It's this constant comparison. That's where that tends to show up is, well, so and so on Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media platform is doing this. And because they're doing this and I am not doing that, that must mean, finish the sentence, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not brave enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. Whatever the concept is there, but it's that uh, deep judgment and comparison that's getting in their way.
Do you think there is a difference between self-critiquing and just downplaying or imposter syndrome, where someone is replaying that over and over again? And you did speak very poignantly to how social media can play a role on that. Do you think can there be a distinguishing difference between the two?
You know what? I like to say there is a small piece of utilizing the things we see on social media for positive purpose, for inspiration. It's when it tips over to having the negative meaning, the negative connotation, the feeding of the inner critic. That's when it becomes a problem. But when we use that idea, that the ideas that we see, the experiences that we see online, I actually utilize that as inspiration. If she can do it, so can I. If he can do it, so can I. That builds the momentum in some cases to take the action to get myself in those same places.
Do you think that men and women look at self-worth differently, or are there patterns that you're noticing that women reflect on regarding self-worth that's drastically different from men? Or is it that we're all human, we have the same characteristics, there's some innate responses that we have? What do you notice? What's your take on that?
Honestly, I've had the lovely opportunity of working with both genders. And one thing I've noticed is uh, for a long time, my belief, because I worked with so many women, was that this was primarily a female challenge that we faced. However, upon working with more and more individuals who identify as male, they also struggle with not feeling worthy, with not feeling enough, with being afraid to celebrate themselves and celebrate their accomplishments, being uh, in that comparison state, overwhelmed, all of these things. So, certainly, of course, there are differences. Of course, there are differences. But I've come to realize that when it comes to worthiness and feeling enough, I do believe that there is a similarity that we both genders can experience.
Can celebrating yourself be arrogant?
Thank you for that one. Yeah, so this is the underlying question when people hear the idea of celebrate yourself. You know, part of the reason why we don't do it is because there's that past story. This is my inner critic, by the way, whenever this comes up. There's this past story that's been told to us that if you say those things, then you're arrogant, you're boastful, you're a show off, your head's getting too big for your britches, right? There's so many sayings that cause us to play small, that cause us to shrink back from recognizing ourselves. And I actually don't believe that celebration is arrogant at all. I believe that there is a place and there is a way to approach it that can empower the other people around us and empower ourselves. The question to consider here, as if you're the person listening to the individual who's celebrating, are you making that celebration mean something negative about yourself in your mind? Or are you holding space for that person to honor that something good has happened in their life?
Do you ever notice that there are certain industries that maybe those who have roles in for their line of profession that they tend to struggle in this area of celebrating, patting themselves on the back, fist pump? Are there some industries that it's more people are struggling than others, or are there examples of industries in which it just comes up more oftentimes than we realize?
You know what? I've worked with a variety of different sectors, and I would say more often than not, people are not celebrating themselves. It doesn't matter the industry, because the negative inner critic, the message we've been passing down for decades and through generations is it's not a good idea to celebrate yourself. That's what's being passed down. But what I would say is the the individuals who prioritize peeling back the onion of themselves, looking within, reflecting, those people have slightly more openness and ease with celebrating themselves because they've been doing some of that peel back work.
And what would you say to someone who is maybe struggling with haters? Uh, those that maybe feel a certain type of way about their
Mm.
progress. And I love the analogy of when we think of people who are truly celebrating us, that they're really cheering us on versus people who like give a golf clap.
Mm.
So, what do you say to those to people who are like, "Wait a minute, I thought you were in my corner and you're celebrating, but you're not, and maybe I shouldn't celebrate," or where is the struggle with that, and how do you draw the line between I'm not even going to let the haters, I'm not going to let that noise infiltrate my space, but then how does one navigate that?
Oh, honestly, one of the most powerful things that I had the fun pleasure of really learning for myself is it's none of your business what other people think of you. And if you can strengthen your own inner knowing, that's what celebrate yourself is about. It's strengthening the inner cheerleader, the other side, to know that it doesn't matter what the haters say because you know what you are celebrating. You know the process, the progress that you've made, the journey you've gone through. You know the steps. And if someone is hating on you, it says way more about them than it does about you. Your opportunity is to recognize, are you making that moment means something in your life? Are you creating a story around that? What are you thinking about that that's causing the negative feelings inside and impacting you, impacting the actions you take and the results you get? So uh, it is a journey of recognizing yourself, and I would say that the act of celebrating yourself every single day for one small action is building the neural pathway of a new way of of putting on the coat of armor when the haters maybe rise up. And celebrate yourself is helping you strengthen the energy that, yes, it's wonderful when other people celebrate us, but it's tapping into your inner knowing, your inner wisdom, your inner love that you can create for yourself by celebrating these good moments for yourself.
Before we take our break, what was the first time that you truly celebrated you and it became a turning point that it felt really good and it felt fitting for where you were in life?
I was talking with a friend actually, and I was complaining about how some people, let's call it that, had not celebrated this moment with me. And it was almost like a lightning bolt moment of, well, I get to celebrate myself for myself. What am I waiting for? Why am I waiting for some other external recognition when I have the opportunity right now to give myself the pat on the back, the kind words, the loving energy of way to go.
And we've got more to cover, including Amy's book. First, we're going to take a quick break. You stay right there.
So in the calm bag, it has GABA, theanine, and taurine. So theanine, which is B1, which is also in our B complex, but it also helps with the stress response levels. It also helps with the neurological transmitters in our brain. Combined with the GABA, and then you add taurine to it. Taurine is a non-essential amino acid in our body, but it's found in our heart, our brain, and our eyes. So in my personal opinion, it's very essential in our lives. But taurine has a calming effect as well. When I was battling all my AFib issues, I was taking high doses of taurine because that would help with my AFib. It would help with the palpitations I was having. And it also helped with the anxiety of having the palpitations because I knew what was going on, and so taurine helps a lot with that as well. So those three together create such a wonderful concoction that just really just calms people down.
Introducing Launchpad, the perfect partner to help you launch your dream project to the world. We know that time is of the essence, and we're here to help you make the most of it. With Launchpad, you'll get access to the most advanced digital tools and strategies to take your idea from a mere concept to a fully fledged success. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned pro, we have everything you need to make your mark in the world. Launchpad, your ultimate launch partner.
What it means to celebrate yourself and the power of self-worth. And our guest today, Amy Ballantyne, she's author, she's a TEDx speaker and an international trainer, executive coach. Before the break, we were diving into some of the areas in which sometimes people struggle with, we all struggle with at times, to recognize our self-worth, to be able to discern from the societal noise that tells us, gives us clues as to whether or not we should or shouldn't. And, Amy, I'm curious. So you've spoken on stages, and I know one of the areas you talk about is people pleasing. So in your TEDx talks, have you noticed any concerns that come up from audience members, or they share feedback of what they're struggling with people pleasing? And what are some of the components that indicate somebody is falling into the people pleasing category?
The people pleaser. Well, raise your hand with me if you are a people pleaser, or if you have been one in the past. I am a recovering people pleaser, and some of the struggles that people talk about when it comes to people pleasing is they're always last on the list, putting everyone else's needs ahead of their own, struggling to say no, boundary challenges, always saying yes, ignoring the input from their body because there's so many other perceived urgencies going on. I mean, I've even had clients tell me, well, yeah, I didn't eat all day and I didn't use the restroom because there was just so much to do. And this is an example of people pleasing, just so focused on all the other things and never, ever tuning into what is right for them.
So then how connected is that to the ego if someone is stuck in the realm of people pleasing, whether they've admitted it or not, but it's just the hamster wheel that they're in? How connected to the ego would you say that is?
Very. It's very connected to the ego, but I actually think it's a strong pattern that's been created over time of doing this same behavior over and over, and until there's some, I like to use TSN turning point, they just continue on and on with that behavior. And the ego, otherwise known as the inner critic, feeds this. Well, if I put up a boundary, then people won't like me. If I say no, then I will be seen as not as valuable as at work. If I go for a walk, then my kids will be mad at me, or my husband will be angry at me because I'm not folding the laundry. Whatever the thing is, there is absolutely an ego component.
That if someone is stuck in that, in that element, that it is hard to celebrate themselves, or it is hard to recognize their accomplishments or what they've been able to master. Would you say, is it something that just feeds itself, like perpetual cycle?
So, I like to look at words. I'm a really big proponent of what are the words we're saying to ourselves. What are the words we're using that shape the reality that we have? And even in that question, is it hard then to celebrate ourselves? Sure, we can look at it through that lens of lots of things are hard. However, if you are listening to this and you are thinking, okay, I do want to celebrate myself, I do want to strengthen the love that I have for myself, and feel like I don't have to wait for external recognition or validation from others, the first step is saying, okay, it might be hard to switch out of that state, and I am committed to doing hard things. It might be difficult to shift out of the way I've behaved. Yes. And it's possible for me. The point is to look at the language we're using, which is a reflection of the thoughts we're thinking, improving the thoughts we're thinking and the language to actually get that better feeling thought, which leads to different actions in our life, like waking up first thing in the morning and saying, you know what, I'm celebrating this new day. It can be as simple as that, or I'm celebrating that I got a shower. Whatever.
Yay! I love showers. A lot. TMI. But this is, I love the concept behind it, because obviously it is a positive level of support, and it reinforces that it is a good thing to do. And the good thing to do is really put some emphasis on your book. I want to bring this up to our audience. This is Celebrate Yourself, Becoming Your Own Cheerleader Through Mastering the Art of Self-Love and Unshakable Confidence. Talk about when you decided to put pen to pad, and what is your goal for the reader? I'd love to start there.
Mm-hmm. I have been using the concept of what are you celebrating with all of my coaching clients for the last probably 10 years. So I have had the experience of repetition, practicing this with individuals, and it's always interesting to me how little they see value in themselves. So my mission here is quite grandiose, actually. We have this movement of gratitude. I would like to see the celebrating yourself as the next movement, where people begin seeing their value, begin using this, what sounds like a pretty simple technique, but so many simple techniques are the ones that individuals then see make a significant difference with the commitment to it and with the consistency of use. With my clients, I saw, okay, the first time I asked them, they would say, I don't know, nothing. I have nothing to celebrate. And I look at them like, really? Really? There's nothing in your whole world. Did you brush your teeth this morning? Oh, well, that doesn't count. That's something I should do. Well, what if we stopped breezing over all the things and actually recognizing these positive moments and utilizing that as fuel, as momentum to go forward with other positive actions in our life? So my mission here is to encourage people to see that it's not about being arrogant. It's not about, putting on that tone of voice like I'm better than you, because it's not about anybody else but it's for you.
And I love to do this whenever we have an incredible author on our show. I always like to poke around the book and love how straight to the point you are in here. And want to just jump into chapter 1. You did share a little bit of your backstory. And one area that I'd love to share is on page 7, where you talk about, you said, this endless pressure to have it all together, to accomplish every task with ease, and to keep everyone happy is something many people can relate to. And then you go into detail about how you started to experience that as a mother and entrepreneur. And then you go into the fact that this is an invitation to reclaim and remember our innate worthiness, and that in your darkest time, you felt like you were not, quote, smart enough or good enough, that there was no celebration. I attended a seminar for my business, which helped me to shine light on the real challenge that I was facing. Can you talk a little bit more about that transition where it really hit home for you that this was something you need to pursue, no scare tactics, no fear factor going on? What was happening for you during that transition, and what did you notice physically once you knew this was the path you were going to be on?
I can honestly say that when I decided to begin focusing on my worthiness and tap into this knowing that I am enough, it unlocked new levels of confidence for me. It unlocked the feeling of calm and peacefulness for me in an absolutely astounding way. Truly. But listen, I want to be real with you here. It required baby steps. This was not a snap my fingers and all of a sudden I feel worthy and enough. That would be absolutely ridiculous to say. It was a journey because I felt so low. But in that decision to commit to myself, so instead of focusing on, more social media posts and other ways to grow my business, it was this redirection of, when I connect to this deep sense of love and worthiness and feeling enough, I know that my business is going to grow, and the impact that I can have with other people will grow because I will have more alignment within myself. And until I have that feeling and that alignment, I could take all those other actions, but it probably wasn't going to be putting the puzzle pieces together. So this was a pretty big transition for me.
Speaking of transition, when you talk about things in place in order to make, just in essence, I see it as make the magic happen, where it's almost like new level unlocked. In chapter 5, you talk about a pretty powerful chapter about breaking free, overcoming self-sabotage, and getting unstuck. You do talk about different areas. You talk about, there's 5 points that I'd love to share with our viewing audience: replacing I can't with possibility. You talk about seeing failure as feedback, dismantling the term I am incompetent. It's all or nothing. You talk about the fortune telling trap, and then the overgeneralization trap, mind reading others, catastrophe around every corner, becoming aware of your internal dialogue, embracing that success. Which of those do you really was something that you had to sit with and dive into that message with readers?
Well, there's so much. There's so many. The one that I would say, as this is the health show, the one that I would say I spoke a lot about early on with a lot of my wellness coaching clients is the all or nothing thinking, and how this is truly a trap. And often this pattern involves seeing things in the extreme, and the connection to celebrating yourself is recognizing that there is an alternative way forward, and taking action even when it's not perfect, as opposed to, well, I had one cookie, so I might as well throw the entire eating plan out the window. Listen to this one. I only went for a 10-minute walk. It comes back to the language and the thinking that we are utilizing that causes us to stay stuck or sabotage ourselves from having the success that we're desiring. So I always go back to, isn't that funny? I did an all or nothing concept there. I go back to, let's look at our thinking here and change the thoughts to change the feelings that we desire. And this is about celebrating ourselves even more on the steps of the journey we're on.
And this reminds me, a favorite reminder of mine that I like to use to make sure that I'm staying on top of things is stop breaking promises to myself. So that if I declare something that I want to do in the interest of my future self, as long as I don't break those promises and blame, complain, and explain as to why I didn't follow through, then I will get to next level to get to the next level, and so forth and so on. Do you feel like sometimes that the language leads to those broken promises where we start justifying and so I see your face lighting up. Can you say more about that?
Oh my goodness, it's absolutely the language. I would say in that moment, our opportunity is to look at how big of a promise are we making. When people say things like, I'll never, okay, imagine that I had some clients who drank, 3 cans of soda every single day. And then they say in one moment to me, I'll never drink soda again. And I'm like, let's fix that statement a little bit so you actually have the possibility of success. So it's notice, again, the language we choose shapes the results we get. So instead of I'll never, we whittled it back to, okay, let's be even more specific with that goal. Are you open to having only 2 this week? Well, that doesn't seem like a big enough goal. I'm like, well, what are you most likely to have success with? Never having it again, or cutting back by 1 soda? Right? So it's helping people see that if they thought through their thinking and their language about how to break down some of these goals, wellness or otherwise, they would likely have more success when they start with the thinking and the language around it.
I like the framework that you're using because now we're taking accountability for our actions. And I think oftentimes there's this level of disregard of this dismissal of not holding space for our own actions. So if we are finger wagging at ourselves and we're just kind of, we're in the role of victim mode, it allows us to, okay, wait a minute, is this accurate? Is this truly accurate of the current situation? Or am I playing victim? Am I just kind of pouty on myself? And so your take on that?
One of the reasons why I love being a coach is to, with love, say, I'm calling you on your baloney. And I think sometimes we don't have that person in our life. It's why I am a big proponent of coaching or having, someone like yourself in the corner to call us on our baloney, to call us on those moments of thinking and language, to ask, did you really mean that? Is that really what's coming up for you? Because sometimes I find that that's not actually how a person feels, but their pattern is speaking about that in a certain way. And that's how they've always done it. So if you have a pattern of being in the victim mode and you're done with it, you're ready to draw the line in the sand, number 1, start looking at your thinking and your language.
One last area I want to dive into. Chapter 9 was another area that you talk about the practice of self-celebration. And, and one thing that you talk about is recognizing movement as a win. And you said, quote, on page 84, celebration encourages us to stay in a higher emotional state as often as possible. When it comes to wellness, especially physical movement, it means recognizing every opportunity for movement as an accomplishment. Can you just, before we go to break, can you share the impact of keeping that in mind so that it can have like a serendipitous effect on our overall thought process?
Yeah, so it's this idea of not underestimating, not brushing over or ignoring these positive moments and actions that you're taking. I just went for the 10-minute walk. Why is the word just in there? Why not celebrate? I went for a 10-minute walk. I had a salad today versus having, I don't know, 6 bags of chips. It's looking for those small moments every single opportunity we can, because think about it like this. I feel like it's like a ladder, a stepping stone at that base when you don't want to get off the couch, when you are feeling really low and you say the words like, I should start taking better care of myself. I should go to the gym. I should eat better. Well, desire and willingness. Are you ready to take action? Step 1 is find something you are doing already that is related to your wellness that you can give yourself a little pat on the back for. I parked a little bit further away from the grocery store and walked a little bit further. Yay me. Now, the more yay me's climb you up that ladder from sitting on the couch to standing, and all of a sudden you're building that momentum. And guess what? You want to take the next action that's valuable. That's so exciting to me.
And the book is called Celebrate Yourself. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We are coming back. We got more. Stay put.
Welcome to Renew Laser and Skincare, where beauty meets technology. From laser hair removal and anti-aging treatments to facial sculpting, acne care, and injectables, our expert team helps you look and feel your best with customized, results-driven care. Located in Littleton, Colorado, we offer a comfortable, welcoming space and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. Visit renewlaserandskincare.com to book your transformation today. Renew Laser and Skincare, where confidence begins.
Hi, I'm Adriana, and welcome to Fit Bites. Today, let's talk about bladder health, an important topic for both men and women, especially as we age. A healthy bladder is key to your overall well-being, and small daily habits can make a big difference. First, stay hydrated. Drinking plenty of water helps flush out toxins and supports normal bladder function. Aim for at least 6 to 8 glasses a day, but avoid excessive caffeine and alcohol as they can irritate your bladder. Pay attention to your bathroom habits. Don't hold your urine for too long, as it can increase the risk of bladder infections. Also, fully empty your bladder when you go to the restroom to prevent discomfort or infections. Incorporate bladder-friendly foods into your food intake, like berries, pears, and leafy greens, while avoiding overly spicy or acidic foods if they cause irritation. And don't forget about pelvic floor exercises. Strengthening these muscles helps prevent bladder leakage and improves control. Take care of your bladder, and it will take care of you. Stay proactive, stay hydrated, and stay tuned for more Fit Bites with Adriana. We are talking all things celebrate yourself, the power of self-worth. And we are speaking with Amy Ballantyne. She's a TEDx speaker, an author, an executive coach. And before the break, you were diving into your book, Celebrate Yourself, which I love how very to the point that you do for our book. But that's not the only area that you're in. Talk to us about your podcast and how you connect with listeners.
Yeah, so Power to the People Pleasers is empowering those of us who want to learn more how to put ourselves first, how to learn how to say no, how to set those boundaries. There's all sorts of incredible guests that I have on the podcast. I'm so excited for you to go check it out.
And then of course, there's upcoming events that you have. Not only are you speaking on stages, but there are things that are coming up for you. Talk a little bit about what we can expect in the near future.
I'm very excited about 2 in-person events. One is a 3-day hypnosis certification for individuals who are keen to break habits, reduce stress, work on pain management, emotional healing, greater self-awareness, all sorts of things in that incredible course. That's in October. In November, I am taking my breakthrough coaching and bringing it to a 2-day workshop that is incredibly powerful, incredibly powerful for a different kind of solution to rewire how you think, to get clear on what you truly want. Very excited for that. That's in November. And finally, there's some online things coming very soon. So stay tuned and join the mailing list. Grab the free download available at this link.
And then also, I just want to bring back up the Celebrate Yourself, the book, and so that our viewing audience can grab the QR code on here. What is your goal for our viewers and readers that are going to get their hands on this book? What's your goal for them to have? What is the one takeaway you want for them to have?
Oh gosh, my one takeaway for them is to recognize that celebration is a powerful tool. It is easier than you think. And when you are consistent with this, it can unlock things in your life.
Do you find that women often, that there's that aha moment as you're diving into these concepts where you're sharing with them, this is how we can see things, and this is beyond the patterns of thinking and how we view the world and what's around us?
You know, our thoughts are truly powerful. I've said this a few times. And when we can become more aware that we have influence over our thinking, we have influence when we change the way we think, the way we see things, the way we experience life changes as well. And so if you're not happy with where you're at, number one, I would look at what are the thoughts that you've been thinking over and over and the patterns you've been running.
Your favorite story after talking on stages and connecting with audience members. Can you share a favorite story of yours that really resonates with you and aligns with the message that you're sharing with others?
You know what? One of my favorite moments on stage was actually at a talk where I was talking about worthiness, of course, and wisdom, and really inviting individuals to see that you have a tremendous amount of wisdom already within you. And if you could tap into that, celebrate it, recognize it, and share it, shine your light. This is the time, my friends.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. Got more coming. Stay right there. We're coming right back. Ballantyne, author. She's executive coach, TEDx speaker, international trainer. Amy, where can we find you in the virtual space?
Oh, I hope that people will connect with me on Instagram. That's at Amy Ballantyne. Connect with me on Facebook. That's amyballantyne.official. You can go to my website, please do, and that's at amyballantyne.com if you want to check out the events. And you can find me also on LinkedIn. It's my name, Amy Ballantyne. In many of these different locations, I provide a variety of tips, strategies for connecting with yourself. There is a lot of good, juicy nuggets out there. So I hope that you will connect with me there.
Oh, I
And
love that. And then in addition, we want to make sure we cover all of that. There are other social media platforms you're
yes,
on
YouTube.
as well. And then for those who are on X, formerly known as Twitter, that just obviously there's a slight variation. So that's just as an FYI to those who that's their preferred social media platform. And you brought a ton of nuggets into our conversation today. What is the one takeaway that you want our viewers to have?
Celebration is a powerful tool to build that momentum for everything that you want in your life. And the thoughts we think and the words that we choose are incredibly important. They impact the reality we experience. So you have the opportunity to be intentional in both, to be precise in your language, to celebrate yourself every single day. You will be glad you did.
Amy, clearly you're a shining example of that. Attitude determines altitude. It's written all over your face. And so love how you are really representing this wheelhouse. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, sharing this valuable information. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Of course, their support means everything to us. Biomed Mobile IV, Dapper No Code Launchpad, Renew Laser and Skincare, and Synergize Fitness. And for our viewers, remember, we're on the web as well. Our website is thehealthrevolutiontv.com. There you can join, you can sign up for our newsletter. You can email us with any show episode ideas you'd love for us to cover. In the upper corner of your screen is our QR code as well. And then, of course, you can count on us every single week. You can see us 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on the Arion TV channel, on E360 TV, and all the main distribution hubs, and ever growing forward. That's all the time that we have for today. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon.